as we journey to Tobago once again this morning, and we say good morning, Tobago. This morning we are going to be speaking with Demi John Cruickshank, and he is the chair of the Tobago Division of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Rhea. Morning. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How's Tobago looking this morning?
Very sunny, very nice.
Lovely.
I welcome and invite everybody from Trinidad to tell their bosses that they are not coming to work for the rest of the week and head straight to the airport or the port and get to Tobago and come and enjoy Tobago.
Oh gosh, I wish I could tell my boss that right now, especially as we're celebrating International Women's Day. Give me the day off. The rest of the week.
I will call him after this program and I tell him to send you to Tobago, let you relax. You need it, you need it.
Thank you so much. Okay, now we've got some serious issues to talk about with respect to Tobago. The Tobago economy. We've just had Carnival ending in both Trinidad and Tobago. Apparently, I mean, from what I heard yesterday with, we spoke yesterday with Mr. Leacock.
Yeah.
Tobago did quite a few things for the Carnival season this year. Sometimes I have to think, you know, it sounded even more like than what Trinidad did. So how was tourism affected in Tobago? Did you see the same number of tourists come across? Was the economy affected in any positive way, negative way? What's been happening with respect to that in Tobago?
Well, what we can talk about is how do we, as a business community in Tobago, capitalize on Carnival 2018. I saw after Carnival Monday and Tuesday, you had a number of events in Tobago, especially the Cool Long Fest down in Cano Bay. We had celebrities like Usain Bolt and some of the top celebrities coming to Tobago. So if we package the after Carnival, now Tobago can't compete with Carnival in Trinidad, but if we look at packaging the after Carnival or the week after Carnival, I think that will augur well for us in Tobago as a business community. Even the Hotel Association, the bed and breakfast, all the small operators who depend on tourism greatly in Tobago. If we can somehow sit down and plan that schedule next year properly, I think things will be well off in 2018 for all of us, even in the business community and the hoteliers. All right.
Has Tobago's economy been affected anyway, especially with what's been happening in Trinidad? I know that it's usually an effect, a downward spiraling effect with Tobago. Have you seen any decreasing in maybe buying or what people may be doing in Tobago?
Yes, we have seen in recent time a serious slowdown in the purchasing power by the consumers. And we are looking on, a number of our members has indicated to us coming out of 2016 was a horrible year for business in Tobago. A number of them indicated that they would have lost between 28 to 30% in terms of revenue and income. So we have to look at how best can we in Tobago look at bringing the economy and working and moving away from the Tobago House of Assembly, because as you know, the Tobago House of Assembly is the major contributor to the economy in Tobago. We have to look at how we can diversify the Tobago economy out of the dependency from the Tobago House of Assembly, because the Tobago House of Assembly in recent time would have hired between 65 to 70% of the workforce in Tobago. And we are saying that we need to look at how we can get the private sector into a more robust and a more aggressive way in terms of how we can contribute to the thing. And we have the cabinet retreat, the cabinet meeting in Tobago tomorrow. And I hope that some announcement is made where the Sandals project is what was touted about in the media for a number of months. We since has been gone cold on that. And I hope the Prime Minister and the Minister for Tourism or the Minister for Finance or Minister Stuart Young, who was the front leaders of that project, come now and say, listen, we have some sort of, reach some sort of agreement with Sandals. We are hoping to move forward with that project, because if you have an investment that size in Tobago, that will turn around the economy of Tobago tremendously. So that is something we are looking forward to, and we hope coming out of the cabinet meeting tomorrow in Tobago that we can hear some sort of positive news from the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, and even our chief secretary in Tobago, as to how we plan to move the economy forward in Tobago.
Now, you mentioned Sandals, and cabinet will be traveling to Tobago today to have their cabinet meeting tomorrow. They'll be meeting with the THA secretaries and so forth. I want to talk about the THA secretaries and the meeting with them, and your meeting with them if you have had that. But I want to just touch on Sandals for a little bit, because it's been said that basically Sandals will be recruiting their own people, and it may not necessarily be Tobagonians. So how would you respond to something like that?
Well, I have heard that rumor, and one thing with the chamber, if you know about the chamber will go and get the facts where it is. We mounted a team last year or early this year to Grenada, because we wanted to find out. We felt that Grenada was in a similar position to us in Tobago. Their plant was crashing, the sector was dying, and Sandals came in and made a big impact into Grenada. And we found out, because we heard rumors that Sandals will bring all the workforce, they will bring, and it was not true in the Grenada scenario. What they did is that they would have brought the managers in and trained up the staff, and over a period of time you had an exchange of the staff that they brought in to the local people. And what we found out is that Sandals would have hired approximately 85% of the workforce in Grenada, and brought in approximately 15% of the senior workforce in Grenada. So we heard the talk already. We wanted to hear from the Grenada people ourselves what was the situation and what is the issue in Grenada with Sandals. And we found out. We found they had 4 international flights that they shared weekly. And the government paid for 2. So basically it was 2 international flights paid by the private sector into Grenada. Now you have 14 direct non-stop flights into Grenada on a weekly basis. So some will say, yes, Sandals is bringing it, and then some people will say the value of Sandals has been tremendous on the plan. And if we look at the other Caribbean, they just opened one in Bahamas. They're building another Sandals in St. Lucia. Grenada is lobbying to see if they get another Sandals in Grenada. So the question is, what happened to Tobago? Why is it that we can't have something like that in Tobago to help us out to bring in the thing? Or if not Sandals, somebody similar to the Sandals brand.
Okay. Now, THA elections recently held, and there are new secretaries. Have you been able to meet as chamber head with any of the secretaries to discuss any business of Tobago?
Yes, I can report that we met with we wrote the chief secretary, inviting him to a meeting with the chamber and the executive members of the chamber, the Tobago Division. And what was surprising to us, the chief secretary said, no, I am going to bring my whole executive council, and I want you to bring all your members out so we can have a one-on-one discussion with all the members in the chamber in the private sector. We sat down and we had dinner with the chief secretary, and the chief secretary introduced all his secretaries. He outlined his vision for Tobago in the next 4 years, and he also indicated, which brought music to the ears of the business community, is that he is willing to sit with the private sector throughout the next 4 years and to move the economy positively in Tobago. And I felt that was that augured well, and the chief secretary is on the right path. If he continues in that way, he will see that the chamber will sit with him, and all of us in the chamber gave the chief secretary and his team the assurance that we all will work towards seeing how we can move the economy, because it's not all the time the chamber wants to come and complain and make noise. It is sometimes we want to say, well, we did this joint venture together and it was successful. So things like that is what we're hoping within the next year or next 2 years, that those things will bear some sort of fruit with the new Tobago House of Assembly.
Okay, and two final quick questions. Cabinet, as we mentioned, traveling to Tobago today, tomorrow, cabinet meeting. What are you hoping, and they're meeting with the secretaries, what are you hoping will come out of that cabinet meeting with the THA secretaries?
Well, one, we hope that there's some way forward in terms of the tourism plant, and there's some serious discussion as to how we're going to move the tourism sector forward in Tobago. That is one. The agriculture sector, it is very concerning to the chamber that we are importing all our food in Tobago. We need to get that up and running. So some help from Trinidad in terms of the agriculture sector will think. Even meeting, we indicated to the Chief Secretary and his team that there was some concern with the bankers, and some members in the chamber felt that they weren't being treated favorably by the banks. So at least he did indicate that he will see how we can speak to the Minister of Finance so the Bankers Association can now start to treat with the Tobago banks, the Tobago customers, in a way that we can look at moving the business forward. We are not large businesses in Tobago, we are micro and small businesses, so some sort of treatment should be placed, or some special treatment should be placed for the small businesses. And lastly, a topic that the chamber fought, and we are not going to celebrate because I don't think it was a victory to celebrate, but the resignation of the entire board at the port. If you remember, the chamber is the one that called for the resignation of the board at the port, because we felt that they were very insensitive to the business community in Tobago. They did things that we weren't happy about, and contrary to how we would have operated with previous port board. And I have to say that we have to tip our hat off to Minister Sinanan. He did come to the chamber on a very short request. He came to Tobago and he promised, he said, listen, I am going to work with the chamber. And we saw where the board resigned, only probably Friday or Thursday, and there's a new board, and I hope tomorrow that the announcement of the new board will take place in Tobago, so we as a chamber can meet with the new port board.
Okay.
That is
Thank you so much. We're out of time, unfortunately, though. Demi John Cruickshank, Chair of the Tobago Division of the TTCIC. Of course, we'll be having more conversations with you to find out more about what's happening in Tobago.